What's up, guys? This is Second Stars podcast. This week's topics are the resorts, our favorite resort, and a resort we want to stay at. But before we get started, let's meet the cast. Hey guys, I'm Ty.
This is Kristen.
This is Lydia.
And I'm Antonio.
All right, so like I said, we got two topics today: favorite resort we've stayed at, and then favorite resort we want to stay at. So I'll go ahead and get started. My favorite resort I've stayed at is actually the only resort I've stayed at, and that's the Contemporary. It's one of the deluxe resorts. Is one of the more expensive resorts. I went on my honeymoon, so I went all out for the trip. But it's just a nice. Even the standard rooms are still extremely nice. It has. I think my favorite part about the Contemporary was the restaurants. I ate at just about every restaurant there except for Chef Mickey's. But and you know, like if y'all heard me last week, my favorite restaurant is California Grill. So then that's where it's located. It's located at the Contemporary, and I like it because you know the buses to the parks are nice, but with the Magic Kingdom, you can actually walk to the Magic Kingdom from the Contemporary, and it's only a 15-minute walk in it. When you're walking there, you don't have to. You walk straight to the gate, and you're ready to go into the park. So really convenient. So what about you, Kristen?
I've stayed at a good number of resorts over the years. For the value resort, you can never go wrong with All-Star Music. Like, I don't know how many times I've stayed there for music reasons or for cheerleading competitions, or, you know, like that's the place where they like to put a lot of their large groups. I've stayed there on church trips. I've stayed there over Christmas before, mini car trips through different groups. But I've never stayed at All-Star Movies. I think that's really interesting because, like, I've stayed at Sports, I've stayed at Pop Century, I've stayed at Art of Animation, which is probably my next favorite one just because of the theming. But when it comes to value resorts, All-Star Music is my absolute favorite, but I'd love to stay at All-Star Movies just to get that experience. How about you, Lydia?
Well, as far as value resort, I've also stayed at most of them, I think. And a lot of times, like, if we're going down for a quick weekend, that's a lot of times what we choose because you can't really get much cheaper. And my favorite one actually would have to be the Art of Animation, only because the theming is really just outdone, you know, as far as that kind of resort. The pool is really nice, and the kids love, like, how whenever you walk around, there's a little Lion King section. There's a little park, like, as you're walking through the grounds, too. And the one part that we've never stayed at, though, that we would like to is the villas at I don't know if they're called villas, but the bigger deluxe rooms at the Art of Animation.
Oh, the suites.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes, thank you.
They're fantastic.
Yeah, that's what we really want to stay at because they actually have, you know, a cars pool on that end. And the little cozy cones and everything, and every time that we've ever stayed there, my son's like, why can't we stay on that side? And it's expensive, of course, but.
We did 8 days with 6 full-grown adults in the car suite, and it was amazing.
Nice.
It was absolutely amazing, and it was definitely worth the money. If you can get the room, it's totally worth it, because you've got a full master bedroom, a pull-out couch, and a Murphy bed, and you've got 2 bathrooms to work with. It's definitely worth the money, especially if you're going to stay for more than 3 days.
Yeah.
Definitely worth it.
Well, since we have 4 kids, a lot of times we have to split our kids up because my husband's family goes, and so we'll kind of split the kids between 2 rooms. But anytime we've been able to get like a bigger, more deluxe room like that, suite, it always is much better. It really is.
Because the suites at All-Star are amazing too, because you get 2 full rooms.
Yep.
And you get a king-size bed. So those are really awesome as well.
We've done that before. We just never have done the Art of Animation ones. But even just the food court and stuff, even for being a value resort, I just think it's really well done and helps you still feel very magical, even though that you're at one of the value resorts. But what about you, Antonio?
My favorite hotels to stay at are the All-Stars, whether it be music, movies, or what's the other one?
Sports.
There you go, sports. I stayed at all three. It's a nice cheap hotel for me to sleep on and then, take a nice hot shower, which by the way, they have the hottest showers and they last a while.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
That is so true.
And for someone who appreciates a hot shower because I just want my skin to fall off my body, they are the best showers out there.
Nice.
Now, speaking of value showers that are amazing, the Little Mermaid rooms at Art of Animation.
Oh, yes.
Guys,
yes.
There's hidden Mickeys in that shower. Like, I think I spent an hour and a half the first time I took a shower there just because I was looking for hidden Mickeys in the wall. Like,
That's
definitely
awesome.
check that out. I've never seen that kind of detail. Like, Disney's always good about detail, but I've never seen that kind of detail in a room. And I really think everybody takes extra long showers just because they're looking for the hidden Mickeys.
I know, right? Well, in that hotel, like that room, even though, my daughter is 16, so she doesn't care as much, but, even with having 3 boys, young boys, they saw the bathroom, and they were like, that is so cool. And it's like, it's really neat, because, I didn't know if they'd like it or not, because, it's Little Mermaid, but they still actually loved the room. And it's a kudos to Disney for how well they do everything, whenever it comes to that kind of stuff. But I completely agree.
Nice. All right, so my hotel that I want to stay at is actually two hotels, one of which I'm actually going to stay at my next trip, so I'm super excited about. But these 2 hotels are Port Orleans Riverside and Coronado Springs. I don't know what it is. I guess it's the Texas boy in me. I really like the atmosphere of Riverside from the pictures I've seen and what I've read about it. But my next trip I'm going to be staying in Coronado Springs, and I've got a friend of mine who's going to meet me there, and it was kind of her idea to stay there. So I know Erica's excited about it too because. It was her idea. It was her idea for us to stay there. But Port Orleans, Riverside, and Coronado Springs are the 2 resorts that I cannot wait to stay at. What about you, Kristen?
Well, when it comes to a quote unquote moderate, sub-deluxe, I have to say Coronado is my favorite. As an adult, it's a fantastic location. There's technically 3 sections, so you kind of have to take a bus to get to another bus. But it's not like Caribbean Beach where there's 12 to 15 different stops, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's going to take me an hour just to get to the Magic Kingdom bus. And then not to mention, their pools are beautiful. It's nice and relaxed, and it's quiet. There's not necessarily a lot of kids around. And their churros are, amazing. They have this Tex-Mex section in their food section. Their burritos are good. Their quesadillas are good, but at the same time you can still get a burger and chicken fingers if you want. But we went around Christmas one year and we came back late and I think they were about to close the kitchen or something. I'm like, oh my goodness, I've got to get churros with chocolate sauce, and they ended up piling 10 to 12 churros in this box, and here, have this. I'm like, oh my gosh, you've made my night. You have no idea. But I would absolutely love to stay at Port Orleans Riverside. I've been told it's a lot like Charleston, which has some beautiful, beautiful architecture. I almost got my bridal pictures done there because of the architecture. But I've also been told that Rapunzel hangs out there every once in a while, so that's extra incentive for me to want to stay there. But yeah, not to mention, I really want to stay in one of the princess rooms that has all the different details with, it's got the Aladdin's rug in front, and then the little luggage rack is the footstool from Beauty and the Beast, and all those little details. I wanted to do that for the half marathon last month, but of course they were booked like a year in advance, so it just didn't quite work out. But I'm like, okay, that's one of those things on my bucket list is to stay in one of the princess rooms at Riverside. How about you, Lydia?
Well, the Monterey resorts are actually a lot of times what we end up staying in because my husband gets a discount, so it makes it a little bit easier. But so we stayed at pretty much, I think we stayed at all of them. But so it's hard for me to pick my favorite. I think overall it would have to also be the Coronado for the same reasons that you mentioned, Kristen. The grounds themselves are just so completely gorgeous. Every morning we would walk to get breakfast, and even though it was a probably good 7-8 minute walk, and we just literally took so many pictures and just leisurely walked, and it was a nice way to start the morning. And the food, you already mentioned the food, but oh my gosh, literally one of my favorite meals I've ever had there was at the little Mexican Tex-Mex thing. They had a sauce. I think it was enchiladas that I got, maybe, and I don't even normally like enchiladas.
Yeah.
And they were so completely amazing. And the pool, again, it's just, I don't know. The entire theming of that resort just is second to none.
Like, not gonna lie though, like when I looked at pictures of it for years ago, like for other people that I had booked, as friends and family or whatever that came down to visit me, like I was like, oh, I'm not gonna stay there. That just looks like, one of those junky cheap hotels. And then I ended up staying there because that was the only thing open. Yeah. And now I'm like, oh my goodness, when am I going to stay at Coronado again?
Well, somehow the pictures just do not do it justice. And I mean, everything from even the fountain when you first walk in, and just the whole way that it's done. I don't know why the pictures don't do it justice, but we really loved it a lot more than we thought we would. And even when we booked it basically as a last resort kind of thing, because that's all that was available. And now it's the same thing. It's like, when can we stay there again? And then the other one I actually have a kind of funny story with. You mentioned the Caribbean. The first Disney trip I went as an adult, we stayed at the Caribbean. And my mother-in-law hates having to walk from her car to anywhere at all. And so help me, even though my husband had said that, that we would prefer a lower level room, they ended up booking us on a second story about a mile and a half from our car. And so literally, like, we first were getting there. It's my first trip as an adult with my husband's family and my family. And the first thing is, oh my gosh, how far is this going to be? And then to make matters worse, like you said, there's like 18 million bus stops at the Caribbean.
Right.
And you think that there's one close to where you are, but no. It's like, and we did not plan on driving our car to the parks. We were trying to ride the buses on that trip, which was a mistake. And so we walked and walked and walked to try to find a dumb bus stop. And literally by the time we got to the park the first day, my mother-in-law was like, I'm not doing this again, but luckily, like, she's gone with us since then, and we've been more careful. But I don't think people realize how sprawlingly, or whatever, I'm not sure what word I'm going there for, but how laid out that the resort is.
Yeah, I didn't know the first time I stayed there, and we ended up doing it really is, but it's just so far from everything.
So far. And there is no real way to get a parking spot near your room unless you're insanely lucky, but everywhere it literally is like a marathon. to get from your car to your room. And
I've never even been to their food section. Yeah, no, I've never even seen their cafeteria. No.
Nope. We never did either because by the time, we were there and how it was laid out, we just kind of gave up on any more walking than the minimum that we had to do.
Or I splurged and ordered a pizza to the room because I'm like, I'm not doing this.
Yep. And it is a gorgeous resort. Don't get me wrong. The beaches are beautiful. They have hammocks and they even had, last time I stayed there, like, little playground for kids, and that was all nice and dandy. But the the walking, whenever, especially if you have people in your group that are more elderly or do not like walking, yeah, not so much. What about you, Antonio?
Don't really know because I've only been ever to one hotel, and that one hotel has 3 dividers, so I copped out and I said there's 3 hotels I've been to, just to make it sound like I have money.
That's awesome.
But what I did used to do way back when security at Disney World was very low, was I used to hop on a bus to Magic Kingdom, and then once I'm at Magic Kingdom, go to the bus aisles and pick a hotel. And then I would walk in there. And people would treat me like I was one of their guests. I was hotel hop. I was those people.
You know, back in the day, you actually could pool hop as well.
Yep. Yeah, that's what we did. We went to 3 hotels. I don't remember their names, but I do remember what they looked like. One of them reminded me of Mexico.
Mm-hmm. That was in Coronado, probably.
Probably. And there was another one that looked like it was all made out of wood, and it had a restaurant in the inside that
Wilderness Lodge.
yelled,
Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah.
That all I remember is that if you wanted to catch up, you had to yell.
Yeah.
I didn't want to yell.
That's one of my favorite restaurants. Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't like it because I just don't like that restaurant because, like, that's it. That's what I'm going to be talking about. I could go on a rant on that restaurant because I was hungry. We had to wait an hour to be seated, and we were already hungry. And then we had the waitress, who wasn't just any waitress. It couldn't have just been any waitress. No. It had to be the most enthusiastic, like, loved her job waitress. She was definitely the team leader of all the waitresses, and she had no idea what was coming to her. She had 8 hungry Cuban people from Miami.
Wanted their food and wanted it now.
Yes, and she was, we wanted something, we wanted, honey mustard. And she was like, "What's the magic word?" And he was like, "Oh no." and then
you're like, "Please don't make me be non-Disney around you."
Yeah, and then
exactly.
one of my family says, now.
That's great.
Now, since then, they've made coasters that are red on one side and green on the other. So, if you don't want to partake of the fun and stuff like that, you can flip it over and it'll just be like a regular restaurant. But anytime I've ever taken people with me, I'm just like, no, we're leaving the green side. You guys are getting the whole 9 yards tonight.
That's so funny.
I'm curious.
Yeah, that'd be great. But I was sitting there and I was like, listen, can we not get into a fight? This isn't a hotel. I just want a burger.
The last time we were there, my son actually kept building. They have that little building section in the front, with Lincoln Logs and whatnot.
Yeah.
And we thought that he had followed us to our seats, but he hadn't. And you know how crowded that place is, so we all go to sit down. It was 16 of us, and I'm like, "Where's Jacob?" And he was 3 at the time, and I'm like, "Oh crap!" So, we turned back, and luckily he's still sitting there building the Lincoln Logs. I'm like, "Thank God." But,
nice.
Yeah. The place is crazy.
All right, so March 8th in Disney history. I looked at it. There really wasn't anything too interesting to happen on this day in Disney history, so I had to pick one. And in 1983, President Reagan actually visited Epcot Center on this day in 1983.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. You just said, "Oh, I couldn't find anything." That sounds like a biggie.
Yeah, I mean, it was generally the most interesting one on the list for today. So
that's very cool.
I wonder if he did anything while he was there, or if he just kind of walked around.
I would like to know actually if he actually wrote something.
If he wrote Body Wars.
Oh my goodness.
No, guys. So obviously went to Magic Kingdom to go see the Hall of Presidents to see if he was on it.
To see himself. Definitely.
But do you think like if the president is there, do you think like they clear out the whole park because they don't want to risk,
No, they'll clear out the entire attraction before they come in, and they'll take them through backstage places. Like a friend of mine was a coordinator at Jungle Boat when Reagan came through one of the times, and he had to be their personal skipper. So like they had to bring him in from backstage. They had to, clear out the entire ride. He put him on, and that was the only boat that went around. And I don't know if you guys remember back when you could go on Jungle Boat and they had like a little pop gun or like a cap gun.
Yeah.
Well, apparently nobody told the Secret Service that there was a cap gun portion to that ride.
Oh no!
Oh,
and
he
went to
love
go.
this story going already.
Yeah. So he went to go reach for the cap gun, and he said he looked around and all the Secret Service had their hands in their jackets, and he's like, that's when the whole bang, bang, like they said bang, bang instead of actually firing the gun happened.
So funny.
Because he said he literally just put the gun down and just yelled bang just to make the story continue.
Oh my gosh.
And then that's when they moved to the electronic guns, and apparently those don't work anymore, so people have just been coming up with stuff ever since then. But I'm like, okay, so you almost got shot down by the Secret Service because Reagan was in the boat and nobody told them. Like, that's probably one of the coolest stories I've ever heard.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And that's probably why it got changed. Like, exactly why. Probably.
Yeah, and I'm like, how did somebody not tell the Secret Service that there was a pistol in this show? Like, can you imagine if they had gone to the Indiana Jones stunt show? Like,
oh Lord.
Seriously, like that would have been a completely different situation, So,
Right.
That is such a cool story.
That's very cool.
If you think about it, so Epcot would have only been open for like
3 years.
6
3
months.
years. Wait, because it opened in 82.
Yeah, they would have only been open. So I wonder if he went there to like, open a ride or something like that. Like that would be cool.
Would be so cool.
I don't know. Maybe we'll look into it, and if I find out, I will.
He was in Hall of Presidents. He was mentioned. He was the one who was mentioned in Newsies, right?
I have not seen that, so I don't know.
How dare you? Erica,
I know.
once.
I need to, but I just haven't had the opportunity.
I've only seen it once, and I act like the biggest fan.
That's awesome. All right, so normally we would have a current event to talk about, but something different, something exciting has actually happened. We have our first question from a fan to answer.
Woohoo!
So
Yay.
the question came, and the question is, how do you plan for a birthday at Disney? So I figured we're all gonna have different answers, so we'll go one at a time and give our answers. For me, the first thing about a birthday at Disney is don't worry about the hotel, because in my mind, you're not at Disney for the hotel. The hotel's there to sleep, shower, and maybe eat. So you're not there for the hotel. You're there for the attractions. Go ride what you want to ride. Do what you want to do. It's your birthday. It's your day. Make it special. But keep in mind, this is coming from the Disney tips or whatnot. But do your research. Know what you want to ride, and know what you want to do for sure. That way you can make sure that you get it in.
Yep.
But what about you, Kristen? What would you do? How would you plan a birthday at Disney?
I have done so many birthdays at Disney with my family and for myself over the past so odd years that we've done a lot of different things for a lot of different ages. Now, I remember when I was 11, my parents actually did a surprise party at the Y at the pool.
Nice.
And at the end of the party, they surprised me with a 3-day cruise on the Magic. So that was probably one of the most special Disney birthdays that I ever had, because it was my first cruise. We literally went home that night, packed the car, got up at 4 a.m. and drove straight down.
That's awesome.
So that's really cool. I also remember my dad and my grandmother's birthday are in August. So it was one of the only times as a child I stayed at the Grand Floridian. But they actually had a dinner package where you could sit out on the balcony and have custom service for dinner during the fireworks. And they had planned for the end, like we had like 10 people there, and we all stayed in a bunch of rooms there, and we got the fireworks package. So I just remember sitting there with the cake with my family watching the Magic Kingdom fireworks. So like I said, I've experienced a lot of different birthday things, but as an adult, and being that it's just my husband and myself, I usually try to put together some kind of like outfit that's special to that year. I like to go meet with a lot of the characters, have lunch somewhere fairly nice, and then go to like Disney Springs that night and just kind of walk around, get to know some people and stuff. So like it really depends on your age and what, like Ty said, what you want to do. There's always that, I've done what I want, now let's see what everybody else wants to do. But just making that day extraordinary, like making sure that it's not just a normal day for you. Make sure you get that button, whether you have 10 or 12 of them. Get your button, talk to everybody, when it's part of their job to say, hey, happy birthday. But then you have those cast members that are off and they're in street clothes.
Yep.
And they're just genuinely excited to see somebody happy on their birthday. So, like, just, even if you don't want to be recognized, just say, oh, thank you so much, and move on, because, like, that's just how our brains work, so pardon us. So, yeah, like, just have fun, enjoy it, do some things you wouldn't normally do, because those are the memories that are going to last forever. How about you, Lydia?
Well, for me, I think two of my biggest things of advice would be to make sure that Disney knows beforehand that it is going to be your birthday or somebody else in your group before you go. One time we went and we actually had balloons and a card whenever we got to our room for one of our kids, which was really neat. Yeah, that hasn't happened since, but it was a really nice little touch. But a lot of times if you let them know and it's on your reservation that it's your birthday, then at different restaurants and different things, they'll do little things for you. And it doesn't hurt to remind them too, like especially if you're going to a sit-down restaurant. Like I know Narcoossee's would actually print out special menus that say like happy birthday so-and-so on them. Yeah, which was really neat. A lot of places will give you a free dessert or give you something neat whenever it's your birthday. And like for us, we've been there for our birthdays many times, and in our family, we have 4 birthdays in April. We have April 15th, 16th, and then 2 on the 26th. So a lot of times we go like the middle to end of April, and we'll all be wearing pins. And it's hilarious because everyone's like, happy birthday. Oh, wait, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday,
Yeah.
And it's, and I think it makes it a lot of fun. And like Kristen said, a lot of times the people who say happy birthday, like that are in street clothes, either are cast members in plain clothes or else have worked there before. And I try, like even whenever I see pens, even though I don't work there anymore, to still say happy birthday because it makes it that much more magical. But I think making sure you get the pins and you wear the pins, even if you're shy a little bit like I am, it's different, but it really does make the day that much more special. And I think that would be my advice. What about you, Antonio?
My advice, if you're going to Disney on your birthday, let that be known to everybody. Every window you walk into. Be like, it's my birthday. Someone's bound to give you a pen. You get a pen, you go, hey. Now everyone's got to say, hey, it's my birthday. Now people will just look at it and they're forced to say it.
That's great.
Like when I recently went for my godmother's birthday, apparently the way I said happy birthday, because every time someone would say to my godmother happy birthday, I would tell her to her like it's the first time I'm telling it to her. So people were like, oh, happy birthday. I go, happy birthday. And I would say like that. And then she would keep, and then my godmother is one of the people who also get annoyed very easily because Cuban. And with her, it wasn't actually her birthday, so she got very annoyed with the fact that people were telling her happy birthday, even though she goes, it's not my birthday.
Yeah.
So she people would tell her, oh, happy birthday. And she goes, oh, thank you. And she goes, even though it's not my birthday yet. And then here I come, go, happy birthday.
That's great.
But if you're going to Disney on your birthday, let that be known. If you're going to do a surprise, let it be a surprise. If you don't want them to know you're driving up there, just say, hey, does this smell like chloroform? And then you drive all the way to Disney World.
That's awesome.
And then,
So funny.
and then when they come to, you go, surprise, we're here, Mickey Mouse.
Nice.
Oh my goodness.
Well-
We did that one year for to our daughter. And
Wait, the chloroform?
Disney? No. No.
Apparently that's only a Florida thing.
No. She fell asleep in the car when she thought we were going to her grandma's. And we drove to Disney, no chloroform involved, I promise, but we drove to Disney World instead, and whenever she woke up, she actually cried because she wanted to be at Grandma's. And I was like, you're probably the only child alive that would cry because they were in Disney World instead of going to see their grandma. But it made my mom feel really good, so.
Yeah.
And we went there, we still
funny.
went there after, but yeah, it was hilarious, but yeah.
That's funny.
Surprises sometimes don't quite turn out exactly how you think they will.
Right.
I know, right?
Well, I remember back when they did the Year of a Million Dreams, and you actually got in Disney on your birthday for free, and you could pick what park you wanted to go to. Because I was a freshman in college, and my roommate actually had the same birthday I did, and it landed on a Saturday, so we actually flew to Florida Friday afternoon, went to Magic Kingdom Saturday for free, stayed in Sanford Saturday night, and then flew back Sunday just as like a girls' weekend. And it was really short, but it was really fun. And then my husband, my only husband, we had just started dating that summer, and I'm like, hey, so my family goes to Disney in the fall. Do you want to go for your birthday? And he's like, oh yeah, we'll go. So we got there, and I'm like, show him your ID. And he's like, I've never had to show my ID to get a ticket before. I'm like, just do it. So he showed them, and they came back, and they're like, oh, well, because of the Year of a Million Dreams, you get your free birthday ticket. And he looked at me, and he's like, you seriously just cheaped out on me and, like, brought me to Disney World because it was free?
That's awesome.
And I'm like,
That's
so we
so
have
funny.
$200 to spend on dinner. Like, we can really enjoy this. And he's like, okay. And now it's a tradition. Like, for the past 7 years, we've gone to Disney on his birthday, and he picks whatever park he wants to go to that year. And it was just so funny how that 1 year started so much just because of a free birthday ticket.
That's so funny.
That's awesome.
I wish they'd bring that kind of stuff back, but
Me
I understand
too.
why they don't. But one day it will, and it'll totally be worth it.
Well, that Year of a Million Dreams was one of my favorite times at Disney, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I loved how, because I actually worked there during part of that, and to see people's faces when they were surprised with different things was truly magical. It was absolutely amazing. And I too, a lot of times I'm like, man, I wish they would bring that back. But I get why they don't, but still. One can hope.
Well, until next week, keep looking towards the second star, and that's a wrap, folks.
Bye.
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 Later.
Later.